And now, Latinos Progresando is proud to welcome to the stage our 2023 MEX Talks headliner, Emma Carrasco. Emma is a force in the world of media with her work including National Geographic Society, NPR, and currently serving as a Senior Vice President of Corporate Affairs for NBC Universal News Group. Emma was recently named to the Association of Latino Professionals list of Most Powerful Latinas and was named a 2023 Rising Star by Latino Leaders magazine. Everyone, the one and only Emma Carrasco.
I have a superpower, and that's because I come from a culture that is rich with people and characters who have superpowers. Lucha Libre, Las Adelitas, Chespirito, La Virgen de Guadalupe, Frida Kahlo. My particular superpower comes from a sewing machine and the pyramids of Tenochtitlan. I am the daughter of a fashion artist. That's how we saw her. Other people called her a seamstress. She was born in a magical place called Garame de Abajo, not to be confused with Garame de Arriba, in the Sierras of Durango. And when she came to this country in 1949, she toiled over that sewing machine to make a living. And her work introduced us to these magnificent fabrics, silks and cashmere and taffeta and linen. Her work took us into the kinds of homes that we thought could only exist in the movies. Her work even introduced us to ginger ale and butter cookies, which is what the housekeepers gave us as we sat quietly in the kitchen waiting for our mom to finish her work. I am also the daughter of a historian and a community leader. By day, evening, and weekends, he was the city's poundmaster, an office custodian, and a gardener. His love of Mexican culture was so profound, and he made sure that we knew that we came from great civilizations. And so when he took us to those pyramids of Tenochtitlan and El Museo de Antropología in Mexico City, we knew this is where we come from. When he gave us these magnificent costumes that we would wear during the parades in our hometown, costumes from Veracruz and Jalisco and the Yucatan, we knew. When he gave us our first set of talavera, we knew. He was also deeply committed to our Mexican and Mexican-American community, and so he founded, along with others, La Unión Cívica Mexicana Nacional, to be of service. And so, among the many things our parents showed us is that sometimes we are so much more than the titles that society may give us. I don't know that I always knew I had a superpower, because like many of us growing up as first-generation Americans, life was a lesson in duality. Press out the wrinkles so that you can fit in, but be proud of your Mexican heritage. Thread the needle like my mom used to do, thread the needle between your heritage and the opportunities that this country provides you. Always be buttoned up, but express your individuality. Claim your value, but don't ask for too much. Get educated, but keep your head down. Do the work. Be agradecida. And you know, the backdrop of my youth also included the Vietnam War. And our brother was just 18 when he was drafted and shipped off to fight. And he did so as a proud American. And at the same time, there were these protests erupting across the country against what my brother was doing. And those protests showed us that, yes, authority can be challenged. The backdrop of my youth also included Cesar Chavez and how he showed us all that one man's conviction could lead a movement, how one man's conviction could give voice to those who needed one and who could seek dignity and fair wages and humane living conditions for hundreds of thousands of farm workers. The backdrop of my youth also included the women's movement. And it was about greater equality and personal freedom for people like me, a woman. And they were in the streets burning bras. I was just getting into mine, so I didn't know what was going on. But they were fighting so that I could have equal access to education and employment, so that I could have the right to my own wages and my own property, so that I could have control over my own body. So squaring all of these things, as so many of us have done, raised questions. Did I have the right to dream big? Did I have the right to question authority? Did I have the right to fight for our equal rights? And like that sewing machine of my mother's, could I stitch together my Mexican side and my American side and honored all that my parents had sacrificed so that we could chart our own path? Like those pyramids of Tenochtitlan, could I create something that was enduring, that stood the test of time? And I eventually came to realize that when I felt I wasn't enough or I didn't belong, which was often, it just comes with the territory of being the first or the only in a room or in an organization. I remembered that I had the superpower of that sewing machine and of those pyramids and all that they represented. Parents and ancestors who also had dreams, but perhaps couldn't realize them because they were busy surviving. They represented our summers in Garame de Abajo, where we got to hang out with the family elders, incredibly wise women and men who were witty, who were resourceful, who taught us so much, things we possibly couldn't have learned at sleepaway camps. Not that we could afford sleepaway camps, Garame was our sleepaway camp. But they taught us how to love the land because we had to live off of it. It gave us life. They taught us how traditional medicinal remedies could cure any ill that we had. They taught us how to sit and have a conversation. And so when we returned to school each fall from our summers in Garame, we knew that we had something that no one else had, and that we were so well prepared to tackle whatever life would throw at us. So to be my parents' and my ancestors' greatest dreams is not just an obligation. It is an honor to carry forth their legacy. It is my greatest source of strength, and it is my superpower. A superpower that has propelled my life in so many ways, given me the confidence to work with some of the greatest, biggest brands in the world, to travel the world, to meet people from so many cultures and walks of life, to love all forms of art. It has allowed me to give back to my community and to pave the way for others. I believe we all have a superpower. What is yours? Thank you.